Have you ever felt like God is out there somewhere, but not really with you? Like there's this invisible wall between you and the divine, one that leaves you searching, questioning, maybe even feeling disconnected? You're not alone. For centuries, people have wrestled with this idea, the separation between God and the self. Religion often reinforces this duality, making it seem like the divine is distant, something you have to reach rather than something already within you. But what if that separation is an illusion? What if God isn't out there, but right here, closer than you've ever imagined? In this video, we're going to challenge that traditional belief. We'll break down how this idea of separation has shaped your spiritual journey, and more importantly, how you can bridge the gap, not by following rules or rituals, but by awakening to a deeper truth within yourself. By the end of this, you might just see your connection to the divine in a whole new way. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. Think about this. From the moment you were born, you were taught to see the world in opposites: good versus evil, light versus dark, right versus wrong. And when it comes to spirituality, the same idea has been drilled into you: God versus self. Traditional teachings tell you that God is up there and you're down here, that the divine is something outside of you, something you have to reach through obedience, rituals, or faith. But what if that's not the truth? What if the idea of separation is the biggest lie that's ever been told? This belief in duality, this idea that you and God are two different things, has shaped how you see yourself and the world. It makes you feel like you have to earn a connection to the divine. It keeps you searching, questioning, feeling like you're somehow not enough as you are. And when you believe you're separate from God, it's easy to feel lost, disconnected, even powerless. But here's the truth: the separation was never real. This illusion has been passed down for centuries, reinforced by religions, cultures, and belief systems that benefit from keeping you searching rather than awakening. The more you see yourself as separate, the easier it is for external systems to dictate your spirituality, your morality, even your identity. But once you recognize this illusion for what it is, everything shifts. The moment you stop seeing God as something outside of you and start realizing that the divine has been within you all along, your entire spiritual journey changes. You stop searching and start awakening. You stop following and start experiencing. You stop feeling unworthy and start recognizing that you've never been separate from God, not even for a second. And that realization, it's the key to everything. For centuries, we've been taught to think of God as something out there, a supreme being watching us from a distance. But what if that's not the full picture? Many ancient traditions, including Gnosticism and certain Eastern philosophies, suggest that God is not separate from us, but is actually within us. Jesus himself said, "The kingdom of God is within you." The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the divine resides in all things. Even science is starting to catch up, with quantum physics pointing toward a universe that is interconnected at a fundamental level. When we begin to shift our perspective and see God as something that exists within us, rather than outside of us, everything changes. Suddenly, prayer isn't about reaching out, it's about looking within. Worship isn't about pleasing a distant deity, it's about recognizing the sacred in yourself and others. This understanding isn't just theoretical, it's transformational. It means you are never alone. Where you go, the divine follows, because your body is the temple, the house of God, and there is no need for a middleman to help you connect. This means the love, guidance, and power of God are always accessible, not because you earned them, but because they were never separate from you to begin with. If the separation between you and God is an illusion, how do you break free from it? The good news is that the path back to unity isn't about doing more, it's about seeing differently. Start practicing being present. The reason we feel separate from God is because we are lost in our own thoughts. Meditation, mindfulness, or even just sitting in stillness can help you tap into the divine presence that is always there. Question what you've been told. Have you been conditioned to believe that God is far away? That you're not worthy of divine connection? Start to challenge those beliefs. Ask yourself, who benefits from me feeling separate from God? Look for signs of unity. Ever had a moment where you felt deeply connected to something greater, maybe in nature, through music, or in the presence of someone you love? Those moments are glimpses of the truth. Pay attention to them. Engage in self-reflection. Ask yourself, in what ways am I keeping myself distant from God? Is it guilt, fear, a belief that I am unworthy. Once you identify these barriers, you can begin to dissolve them. Embrace love as the ultimate connection. Love is the closest thing we have to proof of God's presence. When you love, when you forgive, when you show compassion, you are experiencing the divine firsthand. Many people who have wrestled with the idea of separation have had profound experiences that shattered the illusion. A great example is how a girl named Sarah always felt disconnected from herself, from others, and from anything greater than her struggles. After a painful breakup, she spiraled into loneliness, believing she had lost something that gave her life meaning. In desperation, she turned to mindfulness and meditation, not expecting much, just looking for something to ease the pain. But one night, during a deep meditation, something shifted. She felt an overwhelming sense of love, not from a person, not from a thought, but from something bigger. It was as if the entire universe embraced her, and for the first time, she knew she wasn't separate from God. She wasn't alone. She was the divine in human form. That moment changed everything. She no longer sought validation from the outside world. She had already found what she was searching for within. Or how David spent years feeling isolated, trapped in the belief that his struggles were his alone. No matter what he did, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, that he was somehow separate from the rest of the world and from God. That changed when he attended a spiritual retreat. At first, he kept to himself, hesitant to open up. But as the group shared their struggles, he realized something powerful. Everyone felt this way at some point. The fear of being alone, the search for meaning, the deep longing for connection. These weren't just his struggles. They were universal. In that space of openness and vulnerability, the illusion shattered. He saw that the very thing that made him feel separate, his struggles, was the same thing that connected him to everyone else. He wasn't alone. He never had been. Maybe you've had moments like this, fleeting glimpses where you felt connected, even if just for a second. Maybe it was in nature, during meditation, through music, or in the presence of someone you love. Maybe you brushed it off thinking it was just a passing feeling. But what if it wasn't? What if those moments were glimpses of the truth, a reminder that you were never separate in the first place? Your journey is unique, but your search for truth is something we all share. And when we share our experiences, we remind each other of what's real. The greatest trick ever played on humanity was convincing us that we are separate from God. But the truth? You were never separate to begin with. The divine is not distant. It is not hidden. It is not something you need to chase. It is already here, woven into your very existence. The only thing you need to do is wake up to it. Every breath you take, every movement you make is divine. Every experience, good or bad, is another opportunity to recognize the divine within you. The moment you stop searching for God out there and start recognizing that God has always been within, you will finally experience the deep, unwavering peace and connection that has always been your birthright. So, what do you think? Have you ever had an experience where you felt completely connected to something greater? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This isn't just a discussion, it's a movement. Until next time, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.